one VFC MPX thing, 9mm thing. I can't decide if it's more or less ugly than the regular size MCX. Guy got this brand new and it's blowing fuses. He's changed it over to Dean's, it's still blowing fuses. Standard VFC, I'm expecting to see something fucked on the inside, so of course it's a fucking VFC that's on my fucking bench. I don't reckon the poor cunt's done even a single shot through this. I have never worked on one of these, but I am expecting the usual VFC bullshit. Wobbly selectors straight out the box, all that kind of crap. We'll see what we find. But this is the first one of these I've even held, so I've got no idea how they come apart. I'm going to do a whole pile of fucking guesswork. Take a look at that bullshit. Look at that. Brown and black, it's fucking fried. That was easier than normal. That's good. Already, it fares better in my opinion than the fucking MCX. Motor adjustment. Red at the front, black at the back. I don't feel like that's correct, to be honest. It also looks like it has been taken apart. You know, they've completely redesigned this lower from a normal MCX or a normal anything else. The selectors are different. It's all different. Why didn't they put a second detent in there? G&G put a second detent in there. SEMA put a second detent in there. Why didn't they put a ball bearing on a spring there? Why didn't they do it? Doesn't make sense. Lazy. What the fuck? Jesus. Yeah, look, there it is. You can see it, right? You can see it. You can see the arrow that points upwards, yeah? You can see that, right? Right, ready? Ready? Push it in. Of course it goes the opposite way. Of course it goes the opposite way. Let me just spin it that way. Hang on. Look, there you go. It goes back in, look. Just in case you guys don't realise how this works. So now it's pointing down. You can't point it down because it only goes one way. What a fucking load of shit.
It's for when you put it back in.
Why would you put it back in before you've taken it out? Like, ugh. Okay, it's being held by something. It's that. Okay. Got you. Yeah, this has been opened up. There's no sticker on the bottom of there. Wires are tampered with. Scratches on here. Oh, there you go. One tooth off. There as well, look at that. That's burn marks, for fuck's sake. Like, the gears in it are so bad. Doing gate Aster with this because all of my Perrons are rear wired. I've run out of front wired. And the Aster is much better than... Fuck off, fly. The Aster is much better than the Titan. There's only one wire going around the back, but I'm not leaving anything to chance. Do you know that'd be really fucking funny? Because I'm fucking childish. In case you've not seen me do this before, I stole this idea from somebody else. I liked it, and thus it became mine. Dish dish. Nice smooth round cutout. Fucking dush. This is the 13 tooth sector, 2 off the release, 1 off the pickup. Such a short barrel, it doesn't fucking matter. I can overvolume the fuck out of it if I want to, doesn't matter. Such a short barreled gun, there is no sense changing over the cylinder. VFC nozzles are one of the only things that's good inside it, so I've kept the nozzle. Tappet plate will probably survive, so we're going to keep that. Piston head should survive. Now I'm turning this cunt off so I can contact the customer. Right, so yes, it's very clearly been opened up, but it was brand new from the retailer. They're Hong Kong based, but they've also got a shop over here. So there you go. Easy to get fucked over, no matter where you come from, innit? I'm stupid and I forgot to do that from the inside, so I've got to fuck around now. That bugs me. Thing is, because that's taken a smack, I can't tell. Got you. No, I don't. Well, I really thought that was it. That was bollocks, wasn't it? Got ya. Okay, right. Now, if you look back at some of my other VFC videos, the same bullshit. The same bullshit. The way they've designed it, the motor wants to sit in here at this angle. So it goes perfectly and meshes perfectly. To get the motor to that point, you've got to push it all the way down in. It has to be at that angle there. Once the motor goes in, it gets through that hole and the pinion goes click. And now it's lodged. And there is no getting that out without brute force and ignorance. VFC need hanging up by their fucking feet. People watch my videos. They watch the fucking videos I put up. And they go, oh, fucking VFC. Then they go and buy a VFC and they're confused. They're shocked that it's fucking terrible. I've warned you. I've told you. I made you aware. Now check this shit out. I've attached it. Now, the reason I ran the wires down the front is because I'm not fucking stupid. Because I'm so aware of the way VFC fuck these up. And I've not even done one before, but I looked at it and went, they're going to fuck this up. So that's why I ran the wires down the front. Because the motor isn't even making contact with the fucking gears. It's not touching anything. The motor's just spinning. But it won't go fucking in or out. Won't go in or out. It's a shithole of a design. Right, I'm going handheld with this because I'm talking to the customer. I've had to completely take the gun apart and get rid of every last bit of shrapnel and shit because it chewed the gear up. And the reason it chewed the gear up is very, very simple. Now, going back in time, let's go through the timeline of events that caused his gun to blow its fuse and blow up the MOSFET. Ready? It came to me because the MOSFET had blown. It was blackened and burned. Why was the fuse part of it blackened and burned? Why was it continuously blowing MOSFETs? Because the nasty, cheap, shitty spur gear that VFC use had a tooth off. Why did it have a tooth off? Well, had a tooth off because the bevel gear was bouncing up and down. Why was it bouncing up and down? Well, it's simple. There weren't enough shims on there. Why did they not shim it? It's because when they try and get the motor down inside into the fucking pistol grip, they try and get it in there, they ram it in, clunk, and when it finally goes in place, if it's perfectly shimmed, it's difficult. And if you've got to take it out a second time, you scratch up the fucking motor, you scratch up the fucking inside of the gearbox casing, all that stuff. So it's deliberately undershimmed so that you can force the motor in around it. So then if you force the motor inside here, it goes up inside and eventually it goes through the hole into the gearbox. It punches the gear up in the air very slightly, and that's where it sits. This gear is then bumping around and banging around because it's not shimmed properly, causing this gear to lose a tooth, causing this to lock up, causing that to get hot and burn out the MOSFET. Bad design. Idiots working in the factory. Both things. They didn't have to do it this way, and they did. So now I've got to suck up the cost of a fucking gear, and I say it to people, I say it so fucking frequently. If you wait long enough, some little company will rob their design and improve on it like Double Bell or something and make a much better gun. And it'll be so much cheaper. And if you must have the trademarks, you can get the fucking thing engraved. Now, if we were to sacrifice the SIG pistol grip and just throw any old fucking Magpul style grip on there, this thing's going to be fucking perfect. It will go straight in. Nope. I'm going to have to find a way to shim this because part of paying nearly £500 for one of these fucking things is so you've got the correct looking parts. I understand that because I like trademarks. I like the correct parts. So there you go. Right, there she is. I agreed to do this one at a flat rate for the guy because he had no fucking luck. He had absolutely no luck. It's just another VFC fucking catastrophe. Now, bearing in mind that right now it's beautiful. To get this pistol grip on took me 2 hours. 2 fucking hours. Now, that's bullshit. Motor goes in. You'd assume it goes in at that angle, but it doesn't. It goes in at this angle here, and the back has to slide tight against the inside of here until eventually, click, it pops into place. Now, to get the shimming absolutely perfect on this is a nightmare. It's a disaster waiting to happen because you've got to get that in there so it's click. And as I said before, this then gets stuck underneath the gearbox casing and you have to pry it out. That is bearing in mind both the wires come out the gun, do, they split like that. If I'd have run that wire on the inside of the gearbox, well, as soon as I saw this, I fucking knew. As soon as I saw it, I knew. I fucking knew it when I saw it. I was like, I'm definitely going to modify the gearbox and run both wires out the front so that I don't pass any through the gearbox. I had a fucking feeling, man. I got all fucking Esmeralda about it. So what happened was, is I ran the wires both out the front into the pistol grip. Both wires are then meant to run at the back. And they enter a groove that sits all the way down here. Except they don't. The wires come in either side, they go up inside the groove, together, up, positive, negative. But they can't. They can't do it because the base plate doesn't allow for that amount of wiring. It doesn't allow for it. You can't put both wires on one side, you have to put one on either side. And they go round, and the only way to manipulate those wires, there were points where I was thinking, I'm going to have to fucking glue this. I'm going to have to glue these wires into here. I can't figure out how else I'm going to do this. The wires have to come around the hole on the bottom of the gearbox, the bottom of the base plate, and then the motor has to pass through it, okay? So you have to make sure they're just on the outskirts of that, and they sit all the way up inside here, and they tuck inwards together and splay out. And as soon as you get that motor in there and it touches the wires, it all pops out of place. When you finally get it all in there, you realise that you've crushed a wire somewhere, you've flattened a wire, and you've got to start again, because the wire is then snug and holding, and it's grinding and nasty. And then that's when you realise you have to shim the gun really awkwardly, because the motor has to go in place and pop and get in there. In the end, free advice, do as you want. I know that one of you little cunts is going to go, I actually find it's really, really easy. Who takes 2 hours to a pistol grip? Yeah, fuck you, alright? Fuck you. I've just spoken to a few other techs and they've gone, oh yeah, it's bullshit. I removed material from back here so that I have one wire running up the back and it had complete freedom of movement, and it ran into its own channel automatically by removing material. Then I removed material from up the front, a good bit of it, and you've got to be careful, there are points where this is micro thin. So I ran a big section, bored it all the way out, because when the motor is in its correct position, and that is pressed hard at the back of the pistol grip, this is pressed hard at the front of the pistol grip. It's about here, and it's pressed fucking hard, right? You can't run a wire. So I bored out the front hole of the pistol grip, and I made a new channel to run that wire, so I can slide that in, and it just squeezes over the wire without flattening it, allowing one wire to go up the front. I know it'd be easier if I showed you this, just like the parts. I'm not going to. I hope I never have to open this again. Fucking jinxed it now. Base plate. It's got one big strut that sits down the front, the same as you'd see on any of the 416s and the other MCXs. That I cut it down from a big fat piece into a tiny thin point, so it'll still stabilise. But it's the base plate itself that has to stabilise. Then the back of it, I reduced the material on the back of the plate all the way down, really thin, so that then I can push this entire thing and it seats the motor perfectly, and then that pops in place. Trying to keep costs down, I've just put a Asta V3 into his CYBERGNU AK, and it made sense to use the same technology. So I've put a front wired Asta inside here, safe, semi. This was maxing out at around 35 a second, and I don't really want to automatically put my thumb in there to pull the fucking. I don't want to run it that fast for the guy, so I've dropped it down a little bit. Parts wise, I had to keep it as cheap as possible, so you've got the Asta V3, it's the basic type. I've got the G&G Ifrit motor. I really like those, and it just sat beautifully inside here. G&G Ifrit motor. It's got one of my normal pistons, it's got a set of 13:1 gears, short stroke by 3 teeth, and as many parts that I keep standard as possible. It works fine. I haven't touched anything inside the Baron Hop unit. I will also say, let's unplug that bitch now. I will also say that this is a travesty. This took a bang at some point before it got to me, and I cannot make that unit work like it's meant to. I can't make it work as it's meant to. And the way that works is trying to get that inside and get the gearbox and get the thing, and you have to get the thing and pop it. Fuck. The trouble is, VFC have decided, instead of changing some parts and whatever else and designing new bits, they just tried to shoehorn their regular V2 gearbox into this shape. That's what they've done. They've taken something that exists, and I understand why, it's cost effective. They've taken the thing and they've stuffed it as hard and brutally as they can into this shape, because loads of people want this shape, even though it's fugly as all come. They want this shape, this is what they've got. And they've shoehorned it in. And it's not good. It's not good. I told the guy I'm never going to do these again. I will do another one now that I know what to do with this pistol grip to make it what it should be. I will do another one. But I hope it's not going to be for a long time, because that was fucking horrible. Absolutely horrible.